Happy Monday. How are you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I just realized that StreamYard's not going to be able to save this. That is okay. I'm out of storage. We're just going to roll with it. That's okay. We don't have a replay. As long as it doesn't get removed from YouTube, we're good. How are you guys? Are you guys excited to dive in? Have you guys already started diving into this document? It is, guys. It's a tough one to get through. It was originally 330 pages. We're going to go through 46 pages of that. This is Blake Lively. Her response to Jed Wallace's motion to dismiss, and it is a doozy, guys. It's a tough one to get through. It's very hypocritical. It's throwing in new allegations almost from the set of It Ends With Us, which Jed can't respond to ultimately because he wasn't on set. And so I feel like it's this very underhanded document, an underhanded way to get more jabs at Justin, which no one, like Jed, can't respond to. And then she doxes him. And she puts his private medical information up for the internet with absolutely no reason for there to have had medical information included, on top of the fact that she just fought tooth and nail to have her medical information protected. So it's a tough one to get through. I'm not going to lie. It's a difficult document. We're going to go through it together, though. I originally had planned on talking about it more from a branding and marketing perspective from Blake, but I can be honest, guys, I don't think they have a plan at this point. I think she's just being exposed for being kind of an ass, honestly. So we're going to dive in. How are you guys feeling? What does docs mean? Document, legal document. Good morning. Good morning. So nice to see you guys. Thank you for the kind words. 300 pages of legal history on CA 47.1. It's wild. She's exposing herself. Absolutely. Okay, let's dive in. And obviously, if you're watching, I'm going to give my thoughts and commentary as we go, but more just from a commentary, what I feel, what I see. Because at the end of the day, I'm not a lawyer and I don't pretend to be one and I don't play one on TV, as I always joke. And what we have to keep in mind is that someone that's going to be on the jury, or everyone that's going to be on the jury, typically doesn't have a background in stuff like this. So it's just interesting, I feel. Yes, of course, please get the legal side of this from the lawyers as well. But it's just interesting to see how the everyday person, jury of your peers, views some of this stuff. It's just really interesting. So we're going to go through. Let's start here. Where is it? We're not going to read through all that. There we go. All right, guys, buckle up. Get some coffee. I have some coffee. We're going to do this thing. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe. I always forget. I remembered for once. Defendant Blake Lively files this motion to dismiss plaintiff's complaint for declaratory judgment and defamation pursuant to Rule 12b-2 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedures for lack of personal jurisdiction. Now, again, it's just so interesting how she brings in so much stuff when she didn't need it. Wait, if you haven't read this, wait. This case is a sham designed solely to harass and retaliate against Blake Lively for exercising her right to seek legal redress for workplace SH and retaliation. Everything's a sham. Everything's an attack. She's just leaning harder and harder and harder into this victim narrative. And it's just, the thing that frustrates me, my friends, is no one can defend themselves against her. You just have to take it, or else you're harassing a victim. You're retaliating against a victim. In December 2024, Ms. Lively filed an administrative complaint with the California Civil Rights Department, which alleges inter alia that plaintiff Jed Wallace, by and through his company Street Relations, Inc., aided and abetted a malicious social media campaign against Ms. Lively designed to harm her reputation and undermine her credibility in retaliation for her raising concerns about SH and other misconduct on the set of It Ends With Us. The allegations in the CRD complaint against plaintiff are clear, unambiguous, and include extensive and verbatim statements in their conspirators' own words. Remember, doctored text messages. but okay, including text and email images. Plaintiffs assert that they were defamed because the caption page of the CRD complaint, which lists all parties on the left side and all alleged causes of action on the right side, as is the standard format for cases in California, caused some confusion, air quotes, with the public about who or for what conduct Miss Lively was suing. But plaintiffs' claims based on these specious theory fail as a matter of law and require dismissal for multiple independently fatal reasons. I'm going to try and catch myself. I'm pretty sure I know I don't have the page number written down, but I don't feel like putting his medical information out there. So I'm going to do my best to avoid anything and any doxing any further. Dismissal of the complaint in its entirety with prejudice is first warranted based on incurable procedural grounds. The court cannot, consistent with constitutional due process and FRCBP 12b2, exercise jurisdiction over plaintiff's claims because Miss Lively is not subject to personal jurisdiction in Texas. Miss Lively is a resident of New York and has not availed herself of this state, including because she did not target it when she chose to exercise her First Amendment right to initiate the CRD complaint and identify plaintiffs in its caption, which is an administrative prerequisite to filing such employment claims in California. It's just interesting how this, it's all about jurisdiction, but we have to get into medical stuff and we have to put new allegations in. I'm waiting for Brian Freeman's response. Like, I know I have a hair right in front of my eye. It's driving me nuts. I know he's not involved with this piece of it, but I wonder if he will say anything in regards to it because she just fought, remember, tooth and nail to have her medical information protected. And now she's going for Jed. Even if the court has jurisdiction over Miss Lively, the first to file rule requires the court to decline to exercise jurisdiction or plaintiff's claims because they substantially, if not entirely, overlap with pre-existing litigation that Miss Lively initiated in federal court in New York on December 31st, 2024. Plaintiffs admit they filed this lawsuit in anticipation of and to avoid being named in the New York litigation, which occurred when Miss Lively filed an amended complaint in that action on February 18th, 2025 that named both plaintiffs as defendants. And the court should reject plaintiffs' blatant forum shopping an attempt to divest the first filed court in New York of its rightful jurisdiction over the claims. Finally, FRCP separately necessitates dismissal because plaintiffs admit that a substantial part of the events giving rise to these claims did not occur in this district. All right, let's go down a bit. Plaintiffs have not and cannot plausibly allege that the inclusion of their names in this caption standing alone gives rise to a defamation by implication claim. I find that hard to believe. You get named, especially in the day and age of social media, you get named in a lawsuit like this, especially when Blake Lively is accusing Justin, Jed, and everyone of retaliation against SH claims. But she's saying you cannot possibly allege that the inclusion of their names in this caption standing alone gives rise to a defamation by implication. Nor have plaintiffs properly pleaded that Miss Lively made the statements contained in the CRD complaint with actual malice or negligence, or that Miss Lively, as opposed to plaintiffs' own conduct, directly caused the millions in damages sought. I just genuinely don't believe anyone in good faith which I don't think Blake has good faith in anything she does, can look you in the eyes and say in a post-Me Too era that accusing someone of SH in the New York Times and this person, Jed Wallace, of helping with that smear campaign with these invisible tactics that Blake apparently can't show because they're invisible, but she knows that they happened. She knows they happened. That you can't expect massive damage to someone's reputation. I genuinely don't believe that you can look someone in the eyes and with a straight face say, no, there is no way that could happen. Moreover, the CRD complaint cannot serve as a basis of a defamation claim because it is a legal pleading protected by multiple privileges, including the litigation, fair report, and SH privileges. The court should thus dismiss plaintiffs' meritless claims with prejudice. Factual background. How are we feeling so far? Hello, guys. Elsie's in the house. Hello. It's so nice to see you. But she filed a pre-discovery motion in Texas first before she even included Jed Wallace in a lawsuit. Yep. LH, we can't bring facts here. Oh man, I also forgot my little banner. It is a Monday if it's ever been a Monday, my friends. I apparently did not come prepared. Blake is a hypocrite. I agree. But you can't, here's the thing, you can't use logic. You will I have tried and I just drive myself crazy. Factual background. And I was talking to someone this morning. If you want to look at it from a human design perspective, I am designed to see the patterns and the holes in the pattern and fix them. And it's definitely my strength. It's why people hire me for their brand. It's why people hire me for their marketing, because I just have a gift to be able to see the patterns and figure out what the gap is and fix them. I can't, there's no saving her. And the fact that I can't figure out why she would have included all this other than to just be evil, I would say there is no plan. She is exposing who she actually is in this, my friends. That is exactly what it is. Believe her. I know you all do. Wallace is a consultant and owner of Street, which provides crisis mitigation services to high-profile clients. Y'all hired an ex-CIA, Blakey. Wallace is, and I still think I will die on the hill that her team leaked it to Variety, that they hired him for a victim narrative. Let me know what you guys think about that. I definitely think it was her team that leaked about the CIA. And I really believe it was poor me, look at me. I need the CIA to help me with these people. That's how horrible they are. Wallace is a self-described hired gun with a proprietary formula for defining artists and trends. What I'm going to say for building a brand, if you want to be anyone in any industry, especially if you're working in PR, crisis management, branding, marketing, you should probably have a proprietary formula. So it doesn't even surprise me. He claims to help his clients oh, my coffee's cold. That sucks. He claims to help his clients navigate real-life human crisis and threats, among other things. Wallace specializes in confidential and untraceable campaigns across various social media platforms, i.e. TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, and X. I do not believe anything is fully untraceable these days. It's very hard. I mean, I just don't believe anything is fully untraceable. Maybe at that level of the CIA, Blake, ask your buddy there. I'm afraid to say his name in this because my videos always get buried by the algorithm if I mention his name. But my thought process on this, and if again, because I'm not a lawyer, I think of if I was on a jury and Blake was sitting there arguing about this untraceable campaign, my thought process is, are you trying to justify that you can't prove it? Are you trying to justify that you have no proof? You can't show that he actually did these things other than these altered text messages, because I imagine it would be shown in court. I feel so bad for Jed Wallace. I can't imagine he has the financial backing Justin has. My heart genuinely breaks. It makes me sick to my stomach. And when I think of in court, if I'm sitting there, I imagine his side would show that these text messages were altered to provide a certain narrative to people. So me in my head, I'm going, okay, well, they've altered text messages to make it look worse than it is or to fit a specific narrative. And now they're saying it's untraceable. I'm just going to open this door a bit. One second. So are they just saying it's untraceable because they want an excuse for why they don't have anything? So he apparently has this untraceable campaign to shape public perception of his clients and their adversaries. Wallace and Street joined the Wayfair Party's conspiracy to serve as their digital operatives, carrying out the conspiracy's objectives through digital manipulation and social combat. And if we look back, I didn't cover it because there's just so many documents. I got to pick my battles. That drains me to be in this world. If we look back, Jed provided proof and emails that said, we don't need to do anything. Just monitor the situation. Just monitor. It's all organic. So Jed actually, maybe I'll go through and see if I can find those, at least just those pages again. But he said and provided proof that he didn't do it, that they consulted with him, yes, and his advice was just monitor the situation, which often is the route to go. I don't do crisis PR, but often what I say with my clients too is, something comes out that's bad. you don't have to jump on it right away, because if you jump on it right away with social media manipulation and SEO manipulation and bot accounts, it's like the Streisand effect, right? Everyone's all of a sudden looking at it's like, oh my goodness, something's going on here. I have to look at it. So sometimes it is just better to just ride it out. That's what Blake should have done, honestly. So that's if I had to guess, and based on what Jed Wallace has provided so far in his emails and communications, he was basically just saying, ride it out, because you don't want to draw more attention, and there's no point in hiring me and wasting all that money if there's nothing to do. Social media is doing it for you. Wallace and Street joined the Wayfair party's conspiracy to serve as a digital operatives. Oh, we already did that. Although plaintiffs allege that Wallace resides within this district, Wallace has lived in California and has business ties there. For example, Street has been organized under the laws of California since 2008, and throughout the time the operative facts of the case occurred. Not until filing this complaint before responding to the complaint in New York litigation did Wallace convert Street into a Texas operation or corporation. I haven't looked into that, to be honest. I haven't read this document word for word, so that's the first time that's really sinking in for me, that piece. But also, didn't Elsie find a video that Blake had sold Blake Brown hair care products earlier this year? So I don't know if she's one to be like talking about weird moves going down during this. Plaintiffs executed a retaliatory campaign against Miss Lively for speaking up about harassment and other misconduct that occurred on the set of the film. Miss Lively is an actress and entrepreneur who resides in New York. Miss Lively starred in the 2024 hit film It Ends With Us, which Justin Baldoni directed and his movie studio Wayfair Studios LLC produced and owns. Notwithstanding that Baldoni was Miss Lively's boss, if he was the boss, why'd you get away? Like, I really now she's recognizing he was the boss. It's when it is convenient for Blake Lively to say that Justin was the boss. I had no power. I ended up with so much gray hair from this case. Where was I? It just blows my mind. The CRD complaint alleges that he and Wayfair's chief executive officer, Jamie Heath, feel bad for Jamie too, being all of them, subjected Miss Lively and others to a pattern of unprofessional and SH behavior. So Jamie Heath's SH behavior was what? The apartment meeting with Jenny Slate, if memory serves, correct me and you guys will correct me in the chat, you guys always do, and you're kind about it. So the problem apparently with Jamie Heath was he offered to pay Jenny Slate's $15,000 deposit because she wanted a different apartment, and made her feel uncomfortable because he talked about the sanctity of motherhood. That's how Jamie Heath apparently is dragged into all this. And that's where the other complaint came from what we've seen, which I don't understand. Was it just, now we're going on a little bit of a rant, but I do them, buckle up. Was it they were trying to set him up to be like, too bad, so sad, suck it up with your kid? I don't care if you like this apartment or not. You're here for like 30 days of filming, you'll survive. Were they hoping for that? And then they could cry about it, but then that didn't happen. And he was actually a nice guy. And he was like, yeah, we'll cover it for you. Don't worry. And so now they have to spin it into this weird web of sanctity of motherhood, which I think is very kind. It's just very bizarre. Every time someone's kind to these people, they're like, abuser. Dude, he just offered to pay $15,000 for you to pay your deposit. Chill. For real. For example, the CRD complaint alleges that Baldoni divulged information about his sex life. Here's where we start to get into like these weird new things. Let me know if you guys have heard some of these, because I haven't heard all of these before. But Blake puts them in. This is where I think it's for the media. And I went back and forth. Do I even do this document? Because I think so much of this is for the media. But here we are. Let me know if any of this is new to you. So Baldoni apparently divulged information about his sex life. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I can... Wait, did I just learn how to do something new? Oh my gosh, guys. I learned how to highlight. Okay, anyway, I'm old and that is just mind blowing. I didn't know I could do that. Made derogatory, degrading, and sexual comments. I don't remember any derogatory or degrading comments that, unless she's including the parent weight thing, described his own genitalia. That seems new to me. Hello, Court of Random Opinion. Thank you for these documents and for all your hard work. Has anyone heard this one before? Because I don't remember. Is this new to everyone else? I don't remember. We've got like all my friends hopping into the chat. So nice to see you guys. I don't remember that ever being mentioned. Described his own genitalia. Oh, Jesus, stop. Oh, now we're going rogue. You can see I don't know how to use PDFs. Improvised unwanted intimacy that had not been rehearsed, choreographed, or discussed with Miss Lively in advance. I do think this is going to come back to bite her in the ass, because now we have those videos from her on set for A Simple Favor or Another Simple Favor, or whatever one it was, where she's improvising, grabbing someone's crotch. And very hard. The scene is very uncomfortable. Like, she's got a grip. So I don't doubt that that's going to be used against her for Justin's case. But why is this mentioned here? Other than to be a vindictive ass. Why is she mentioning any of that here? It has nothing to do with Jed. If he helped with this invisible imaginary smear campaign that he already provided proof that doesn't exist and didn't happen other than in Blake Lively's own mind from altered text messages, why do we have to add this in other than to put stuff out into the public that no one can refute? Oh yeah, and the perineum. Like, again, what's good for her is not good for anyone else. And that's the thing that bugs me the most about a lot of these documents and how she just operates as a human being is you can't in one hand say, I deserve this type of treatment on set. Well, I guess you can, but to me, it loses integrity. And in this hand, we can talk like this. We can do this. We can improvise. We can make other people feel uncomfortable. We can steamroll people. We can do what we want. But oh my gosh, there wasn't a fully described step by step of what's going on in this slow scene montage. Glad it's not just me. But for me, that's new. This part is new. Let's try to highlight again. I feel like a real adult. Oh my gosh. Improvised unwanted intimacy, okay? Added graphic content to the script, including multiple new scenes with nudity, which I don't know if that... I know she had talked about improvising unwanted intimacy, but has anyone heard that apparently he added graphic content? Because I don't remember her previously saying it was graphic. An on-camera orgasm, I don't even think that has anything to do with her. Doesn't that, or maybe it does. Or is she talking about young Lily for that? And added unscripted nudity to a birthing scene for which he cast his friend as Miss Lively's OBGYN. This whole paragraph drives me crazy, guys. Again, not a lawyer, but just as a human being, if I was on the jury and they're bringing this stuff forward, I don't even know if they can bring this stuff forward because it has nothing to do with Jed Wallace. He wasn't on set. All right, we shall continue. I literally, I kid you not, I take an omeprazole before I read these documents because it gives me stomach pain to read them. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys, if you're new here. We do investigative deep dives as well. I'm trying not to do them too much because when I do those big time exposés, so for those that are used to being here and you're probably thinking, why haven't you done any exposés recently? They very much damage my channel and reach. So not that I'm going to stop with them, but we're going to mix it up with different content too. There was no new. That's the thing too. There was no nudity. Also, I meant to get back to you this morning, but this afternoon should be good. All right. There was no nudity. And again, she's putting that in knowing that Jed can't talk to that. So, and I really don't believe Brian Freeman and Justin Baldoni would said, look, she was wearing a hospital gown, black briefs, and the pregnant prosthetic belly if they didn't have proof of that. And I love how she just continually cast his friend as the OBGYN, as if like Justin and his friends all sit around fantasizing about having their head between Blake Lively's legs. But also, she's too fat, remember. Not my words. Please don't put that as my words. It's going to be clipped and it's going to go viral. Actually, it says Blake Lively's fat. No. But they're all obsessed with her. But also, they think she's too fat. That's a good point too, Mindy. Why did they say Miss Lively's OBGYN and not Lily Bloom's? Valid point. You know, originally I had said, I think if she just came out and said, look, shit went sideways. I was dealing I worked as a counselor for a long time. I actually worked in a women's shelter as well. And I've seen a lot like postpartum depression. I know people and friends of mine personally that have gone through it. And originally I'd said, I think we're too far gone for that. Originally, if that was actually true, say it was true, it could have been extra sensitive, emotionally, sensitive about her weight, maybe a little bit more reactionary than usual. I mean, people would have still pulled up the thousands of videos and everything that prove that not to be true. But let's just like play with this thread. She could have said, you know, guys, this happened. I went off the deep end and I'm going to fix my shit. And that might have been something that she could have done, but she just keeps doubling down. She doesn't care. This is only a partial list of misconduct alleged. Oh, Blake, you're so kind for only putting a partial list of shit that's not relevant into a document that has nothing to do with Jed Wallace. You are so kind. Miss Lively and others on set raised concerns about this behavior, which resulted in a contractual rider that includes, she brings up the 17 specific protections. To ensure a safe set for the cast and crew when they return to work after the conclusion of the strikes. The protections for return to production included, among other things, a contractual mandate that Baldoni, Heath, Wayfair, and others not retaliate against Blake Lively for raising concerns or requesting safeguards. In the summer of 2024, this is why we can't read 40 pages in less than 6 hours, because I have so much to say as we go. You get all my ADHD thoughts as we go. In the summer of 2024, as the film's New York premiere neared, Baldoni became concerned that Miss Lively would speak publicly about the hostile environment she and others faced on set. Blake, I still want to know what the hostile environment was. And I still want to know the others, because all we have so far is Jenny Slate feeling uncomfortable about being told about the sanctity of motherhood and being offered $15,000. That is all. And your little pet, Isabella, who, bless her heart, I feel so bad. She was probably gaslit and manipulated. I feel horrible for her. I have no doubt in these weird ass sleepovers you had with her that there was like that girl talk and you were talking about how, oh man, he made me uncomfortable and this happened and that happened. And she said something and you twisted it and you took it out of context. I honestly think that's what happened with Isabella, and I feel bad for her. And I know a lot of people want her to come out with a statement. I feel like she's probably between a rock and a hard place. I don't think she's spoken out at all. Let me know if she has. I don't think she's posted about this at all. I can only hope she's helping Justin behind the scenes. Baldoni and Heath enlisted a number of co-conspirators, including Mr. Anyone unsure of how much money Mr. Sorowitz has? Was anyone confused about how much money Steve Sorowitz has? Because every legal filing who's promised to spend $100 million to ruin Miss Lively and her family's lives. Has anyone seen that email or text, or is it one of Blake Lively's trust me bros? And I'm not going to lie, I was just joking with one of the community members in my Instagram this morning that, I grew up in Windsor, Detroit. So I grew up in a border city. For those that know the US, Detroit, Michigan, following, chasing bands all over Michigan, spent most of my time in Michigan. Anyone that grew up in Windsor, most of your time was in Michigan. But grew up Canadian on the Canadian side of the border in Windsor. There was like a little scrappy gangster you just can't take out of a girl that grew up in Windsor. And I was like, this just enrages me. It just like I don't understand. All professionalism goes out the tubes when I try very hard to keep it, but I don't understand this. Is this Blake, where is the proof he said this? Because you got these little air quotes here. Did you have it in a dream? I feel like I'm extra sassy this morning. I'm sorry, guys. I am extra sassy. Where? I'm not sure. Steve, hand it over and I will count it. Yeah. Someone recently on Instagram accused me of being paid by Taylor Swift's team because I said nice things about her branding. I was like, I wish any of these billionaires were paying me. Are you kidding me? I am not being paid. I just can understand and appreciate nuance. So I can appreciate nuance that Taylor Swift is actually really good, well, her team at branding. It was so bizarre. I get accused of it all the time. But it's like, yes, hand over some of that. Wayfair Studios and It Ends With Us movie LLC, together with Baldoni, Heath, and Sarowitz, Wayfair Parties, Melissa Nathan and her company, the Agency Group, Jennifer Abel. We're all in this together. On August 2nd, 2024, Nathan delivered a proposal to Baldoni, which included a website to discuss full Reddit, See, this is what irritates me with her. She never puts proof or like the whole chain. This is every document with Blake. It was my issue with her latest one for Justin Baldoni. And when she was talking about these other women that were talking about things, it wasn't proof. It wasn't email chains. It wasn't text message chains. It was quotes. It's like, when someone on their website puts quotes, but, it's a stock image from Canva for a human that they used or an AI person that they used. It's like Jane Smith from North Dakota. I don't know why I picked North Dakota. I've never been there. It's just provide the proof. Blake, I want to believe that this happened. I am naturally wired to believe women. I've worked in women's shelters. I worked as a counselor. I worked in the mental health field. I am wired to believe women. Or just those that say that things, men, women, doesn't matter. Whoever has said that these allegations have happened to them. But this drives me crazy. These just trust me quotes. Anyway, a website. I did not have enough coffee this morning, guys. I am sorry. It's a little unhinged here. A website to discuss full Reddit, full social account takedowns, full social crisis team on hand for anything, engage with audiences in the right way, start threads of theories to discuss this in a way to be fully 100% protected. And then he said he never had to implement anything. Nathan also proposed the creation of social fan engagement to go back and forth with any negative accounts, helping to change narrative and stay on track. Funny, Blake, because your husband did this in Ontario recently. I just feel as though they project. They have issues with projection. I genuinely feel that in their head, it's like, if we do these things, everyone else has got to be doing these things. This creation of social fan engagement to go back and forth with any negative accounts, Ryan Reynolds literally did that. They are called sock puppet accounts. He created a fake account, either him, I think it was his team. I don't think it was actually him. Ryan's got other shit going on. I don't think he's engaging in a Facebook account in Kingston, Ontario. They created a sock puppet account that was quote unquote Ryan. And then they created a sock puppet account for this individual that was doing exactly this, was going back and forth in the Facebook page, in the Facebook group for Kingston, Ontario with any negative accounts. Anyone that said there is no way that happened, like it's AI, he wasn't in town. This person, the same account, went to every single post. I wish I had them up for everyone. I do think I have a reel on them. I'll post them on Instagram. Again, I still have those screenshots. So make sure to follow me on Instagram, Ashley Brianna Eve. I'll post that later today because this is exactly what Ryan Reynolds' team did. So, and that's astroturfing, essentially, which is more well known because Blake accused Justin of it. But that's astroturfing. When you create sock puppet accounts, and the idea is it's supposed to look organic, but it's artificial because the team behind the scenes is creating it. All of this will most importantly be untraceable. Again, just a quote per Nathan. As Abel described it, the plan was to engage in social media mitigation and proactive fan posting to counter the narrative, as well as social manipulation. Nathan's plan proposed strategies to advance misleading counter narratives, including pushing Nathan's narrative that Miss Lively had a less than favorable reputation. I don't think anyone needed help with that. I don't know. Is Elsie still here? Elsie, did Justin's team pay you to find out stuff on her less than favorable reputation? We'll have to ask Elsie. We've talked about maybe going live this afternoon, but I had time. I was going to do this as going to do this pre-recorded. And I thought I need to hang out with you guys for it. Oh, you must have not heard. She is there. You must have not heard. There you go. Wink. Oh, crap. No. Oh my gosh, who is calling me? People call me? Sorry, guys, if that paused. I used my phone for the video and someone called me, which is anyone else. If someone calls, you hit X out of it and then you Google the number. It's exactly what I do. All right. Initially, Baldoni expressed concerns that Tag's written plan was insufficiently aggressive to protect him. And I don't think that's taken out of context. Writing to Heath and Abel, I'm not in love with the document they sent. Not sure I'm feeling the protection I felt on the call with Nathan and her colleagues. That's taken out of context. If he felt that SH claims were going to be leveled against him in this narrative, in this environment, I think we're on the other side of cancel culture. Not fully, but that like really thick cancel culture where someone even said anything you didn't agree with and now taking them down. We're kind of on the other side of that. However, we're not on the other side of you need an aggressive tactic to protect yourself if someone's claiming SH. And if someone's going to go to WME and say you're a sexual predator at the end of the day. So this, even if he said those exact words and the context is correct, that he said it in regards to what Jed Wallace had provided or what Nathan had provided, that doesn't bug me at all, because you bet if I had kids and I had a son and someone with her power and her pull and her connections and her money was coming after my kid, I'd want to know that there was a sufficient strategy in place to protect my kid. As long as they were innocent. Let's not twist that. Later that day, Abel and Nathan exchanged more text messages expressing that Baldoni wants to feel like Miss Lively can be buried. Abel and Nathan agreed that they should not betray their true intention in writing. When we send over documents, we can't send over the work we will or could do, because that could get us in a lot of trouble. We can't write it down to him. We can't write down, we'll destroy her. We'll go into this. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. Imagine if a document saying all the things he wants ends up in the wrong hands. Nathan followed this by assuring Abel, you know, we can bury anyone, but I can't write that to him. So I have a lot of, over the years, I'm cutting back on my clients now because I enjoy hanging out with you guys. I feel like I just want to put like retired branding and marketing expert. One day we'll say that. I have many clients where stuff isn't in writing because they don't want to risk someone getting somewhere. I have clients where even our Zoom calls don't get saved because they don't want that stuff. Bye, Lauren. It's so nice to see you. Thanks for hanging out. They don't want the risk. So again, for me, even if they said this and the context is right, if we're not writing it down, it doesn't bother me because it's just normal for stuff like this to not be written down. And at the end of the day, just to play devil's advocate, you know, if he said it's not sufficient, I want her to be buried, again, we're missing context. If he is truly innocent, which I believe based on the evidence he is, I started out pro Blake. If he's truly innocent, wouldn't you want to know that you have a strategy to not, like, I don't know if bury is the right word, but like bury someone, like essentially make it that you're not the predator, that you are not actually the predator that someone is claiming you to be. Again, I just don't see, like, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. But for me, again, and maybe it just gives me a different view because I've lived as a business mentor and consultant through the age of cancel culture. So I've also had clients on the other side of this being like, what happens if someone makes up shit about me? Or I've had clients come to me and say, something I said was taken out of context and now it's going viral, or people in the industry are trying to cancel me. What do I do? I have a lot of clients that have dealt with cancel culture and cancellation attempts. So maybe that just gives me a different lens of, you should be protected and you should be ready. Let me just go back. Ashley, did you have time to review my documents? Omar and I will do a follow-up maybe. I'm rewriting it not to be so boring and prolonged. I don't know if I saw documents. I get a lot of emails in a day and DMs and priority are given to client messages. And so what happens is sometimes I forget to circle back to messages, but I genuinely don't remember off the top of my head. So feel free to shoot over a message again. A few days later, Baldoni set the tone for the social combat he and his co-conspirators would enact, sending Abel a thread on X that had accused another female celebrity of bullying women. Baldoni stated, "This is what we would need." Again, I think it's kind of taken out of context, but maybe that is the whole context. Shortly thereafter, when the press and public were beginning to notice that some of Baldoni's fellow cast had unfollowed him on social media and were not appearing with him, the Wayfair parties brought plaintiffs into the conspiracy to serve as a covert digital operatives. This unfollow thing, Blake, come on. This has Taylor Swift written all over it. I'm sorry, but this unfollow someone that's like no longer in this inner circle stuff, Taylor's been doing that. So it doesn't surprise me that there was some kind of like plan there. Plaintiffs got to work seeding, manipulating, and advancing disparaging content on social media platforms and internet chat forums, which Jed has said they have not done. I'm going to have to go through now and find those documents and provide proof that they didn't do that. Abel told Baldoni they would focus on Reddit, TikTok, and Instagram. I mean, those are probably smart platforms to focus on. Abel emailed Nathan and Wallace on August 8th, 2024, saying to Nathan about Wallace and the street relations team, "Is this something you can bring them up to speed on so they can hit the ground running?" On August 9th, Abel, Baldoni, Heath, Nathan, and other members of the tag team exchanged text messages to celebrate the narrative that was shifting online to pointing fingers at Ryan being overly involved. Again, I think that was organic. In response to Mr. Baldoni, a tag employee noted that they had flagged to Jed and his team as well, the shifting narrative. I could say for myself, and those creators that I know, none of us, those that some creators just genuinely from the get-go figured something was off. We're like Team Justin from the get-go. For those that started out like Team Blake, and so talking to the shifting narrative, it was organic. I can genuinely say that for me, I can speak for myself here. I was reading documents. I was keeping up on what was going on and understanding marketing and PR and all of that. I saw the red flags for what was going on from Blake's side. We still really don't get SEO manipulation from Justin's side. They're laying low. In response to Mr. Baldoni, a tag employee noted that we already went over that. Abel circulated a screenshot of a post by another woman accusing him of additional misconduct and announced that she had directed Wallace to take action to suppress it, stating, "I'm assuming that this is not true in the slightest. Either way, we flagged to Jed and his team for more serious actions on the social side." Again, that's normal. And she said, "I'm assuming this is not true." So what, Justin doesn't want more fake allegations about him going out? That seems reasonable to me. But here's the thing with Blake. It's like, it's invisible. So trust me, bro. That same day, Nathan reported to the group Wallace's sentiment that we are crushing it on Reddit. Around the same time, threads began to appear on Reddit speculating about a feud between Miss Lively and Justin Baldoni, calculated to paint Miss Lively as being in the wrong. She's the one that seeded that. I will go to my grave with that. On August 10th, Tag expressly acknowledged the success of plaintiff's effort to shift public attention from stories about Baldoni's misconduct into a manufactured and harmful narrative about Miss Lively, stating that they started to see a shift on social due largely to Jed and his team's effort to shift the narrative towards shining a spotlight on Blake and Ryan. Again, where'd the puppy go? Okay. He had proof saying he didn't have to implement it. Following this shift, Nathan texted, the majority of socials are so pro-Justin, I don't even agree with half of them, LOL. And again, I think that's a little taken out of context. It doesn't mean that she doesn't agree with what they're saying about Justin. It could, but it could also be taken out of context. Where's the whole chain? What is she saying she doesn't agree with? Nathan later bragged that this went so well, it was genius. Over the days that followed, plaintiffs, like Blake, just put the full text chain in without it being altered. Over the days that followed, plaintiffs led a digital team that worked with Nathan, Abel, and Tag to further implement their social manipulation strategy. When an allegation surfaced regarding additional misconduct by Baldoni, as Abel stated, this girl is claiming that Justin invited her up to his hotel room years ago. Nathan advised Abel, let us chat to Jed on this as well. In response to Baldoni's concern that he did not want bots defending him online, which again, seems like he's trying to play it legit. I don't want bots defending me, Justin said. But somehow that gets twisted too. He's damned if he did. He's damned if he didn't in this case with Blake. Nathan reassured him that something much more sophisticated was in motion, stating that the other team, referencing plaintiffs, is doing something very specific in terms of what they do, adding that I know Jimmy Heath and Jed connected on this. On December 20th, 2024, as a prerequisite to filing a lawsuit in federal court, Miss Lively filed the CRD complaint. I don't think she had any intention of filing a lawsuit, and Brian Freeman called her out on that, which included a required intake form. She only filed the lawsuit after people were calling her out for not filing the lawsuit. The CRD form identifies 10 respondents, including Wallace and Street, and states as follows. Additional complaint details. Complainant Blake Lively alleges that respondents Wayfair Studios, LLC, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarwitz, Melissa Nathan, the agency group PR, LLC, Jennifer Abel, RWA Communications, LLC, Jed Wallace, and or Street Relations engaged in a variety of conduct in violation of California Government Code 12940. The conduct includes SH, retaliation, failure to investigate, prevent, and or remedy harassment, and aiding and abetting harassment and retaliation. But guys, he can't prove that putting that did damage to his reputation. She's like, we just put his name there. Like, what are you talking about? And now he's saying that, like, what? We damaged his reputation because we put him in a paragraph that says that he was involved in, hiding SH and retaliate. She is wild. The mental gymnastics is wild. The CRD complaint identified the same individuals in its caption and set forth specific factual allegations detailing the SH Miss Lively faced on the set of the film and the retaliatory campaign that had since been waged against her, as well as screenshots of text messages among Baldoni and the PR team. Neither the CRD form nor the CID complaint asserted specifically pled causes of action against plaintiffs for SH retaliation, failure to investigate, prevent, and or remedy harassment, aiding and abetting harassment and retaliation as alleged by plaintiffs. Instead, Ms. Lively explained with specific examples Wallace's participation in the retaliatory campaign. You still can't put someone's name in that and then just be like, what? What's your problem? I was just saying that, I was just giving examples of the retaliatory campaign. Chill. It just blows my mind. Thank you so much. You are so kind. Oh my goodness. You guys are the best. I appreciate every one of you. The CRD complaint identified the same individuals in its caption and set forth specific factual allegations detailing SH. Miss Lively faced on, we already did that. Oh my God, Ashley, pay attention. In response to the CRD complaint, CRD issued a right to sue notice, which allowed Miss Lively to pursue a lawsuit for up to 1 year. It's just still shady how it was only filed. I guess, yeah, it could be 1 year, but it's not a little bit weird that it was only after people kept saying she didn't intend to file one. On December 20th, 2024, Miss Lively's counsel sent a copy of the CRD form and CRD complaint and a cease and desist letter to Wallace, which was shared with attorney Brian Freeman, counsel Baldoni Wallace. And next, let's give this the energy it needs. On December 20th, 2024, Miss Lively's counsel sent a copy of the CRD form and CRD complaint and a cease and desist letter to Wallace, which was shared with attorney Brian Freeman and counsel for Baldoni and Wallace. The next day, several press outlets reported on the CRD complaint, but leading the race was TMZ, which included a defamatory statement from Freeman on behalf of plaintiffs, among others. Exhibit A. Later that day, the New York Times published an article reporting on the allegations of the CRD complaint entitled, "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Campaign," or smear machine. So is she once again saying that Justin's team leaked it? Is that what she's saying here? Because if you look at the metadata, she had been working with the New York Times for months. And allegedly, I don't know. I think it's linked. I haven't gone into it yet, but it's just interesting that Taylor had met with Rowan Farrow around the time that she would have been talking or linked up with the New York Times. So I don't know how, if that's genuinely what she's trying to allude to here, of like, it wasn't us. I don't understand how she can continue with that. On December 31st, 2024, Ms. Lively filed a complaint in the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York that was largely substantially identical to the CRD complaint and included federal and California state law against Wayfair, Baldoni, and Heath, as well as against Steve Sarowitz, It Ends With Us Movie LLC, and members of the PR team. That same day, Freeman, on behalf of the New York Wayfair defendants, plus Wallace and Street and RWA Communications LLC, sued the New York Times in California Superior Court, asserting claims under California law based on the article. The California complaint identified Street as a California corporation. Oh my gosh, this noise in the background's distracting me. One sec, guys. Close that door. My attention span is not good enough to have that kind of noise going on. You're okay, Tundra. On January 16th, 2025, all the New York Wayfair defendants, other than TAG, New York Wayfair plaintiffs, filed a separate lawsuit in the first filed court asserting 7 causes of action, including based on the allegations that the CRD complaint was rife with lies and doctored evidence. Okay, so this is the paragraph. I can't fully avoid it, but I just don't want to if I can avoid it, but I think I already scrolled too far. On January 21st, 2025, Ms. Lively initiated a Rule 202 petition in Hayes County to obtain a pre-suit deposition of Wallace to investigate the full nature and scope of his role in implementing and carrying out the retaliatory campaign against her. Wallace repeatedly evaded and obstructed Ms. Lively's persistent efforts to serve him by process server and by certified and USPS mail. On January 23rd, 2025, after trying to serve Wallace at his gated property, the process server received a text message from an associate at Freeman's law firm stating the law firm Lanier, Freeman, Tattleman, and Cooley LLP will accept service for him. Do not try to serve him again. Thank you. Later that day, Freeman claimed that my office never agreed to accept service of process of anything and then denied any such arrangement. What she then goes on to say, which I'm not going to read it, is that Jed Wallace then had a medical emergency. She puts right in the complaint or right in this filing what that medical emergency is and blasts his medical emergency for everyone to see. And I just don't want to read that line. The problem for me is, I suppose at the end of the day, we could argue that the attorney's eyes only is on the Wayfair and Lively side. I just feel that someone that has any semblance of decency would not have blasted someone's medical information, especially when it's not required. And not only that, but is that really a flex that you've now put 2 people in the hospital from the stress of it? Because what she's essentially says is, well, he had this medical emergency from the stress of all this. Yeah, Blake, it's stressful. Oh gosh, when will she stop digging her own career grave? She needs to go away and take her dragon with her. I agree. He had the medical stuff protected and she just put it out there. This is an all-time low for her. I just feel like even if there was no law binding me to not blast someone's medical information, I still wouldn't do it. She has to keep Wallace's info secret in her New York case against him, but then puts it out there in this. On January 31st, 2025, the New York Wayfair defendants, notably without being joined by Wallace or Street, filed an amended complaint in the New York litigation to include the New York Times as a party. The parties to the California complaint, including Wallace and Street, dismissed the California complaint on February 3rd, 2025. That same day, during an initial pretrial conference in the New York litigation, Freeman explained why the New York Wayfair plaintiffs chose to file an amended complaint to include the New York Times and to dismiss the California action. After seeing your case management order and just for the efficiency of the case, it's kind of made no sense to be doing this on different coasts and with different courts. It seemed that so many of the issues are going to be so similar that to have it all in one proceeding in front of your honor would make the most sense. During the same hearing, counsel for Ms. Lively represented to the first filed court that she would be amending her complaint to add additional parties and claims. Because originally, if I remember correctly, she had mentioned Jed Wallace in the CRD complaint, attached him to this mess, and then didn't have him on her first filed court papers. And then all of a sudden he was added again, if I remember correctly. The very next morning, Ms. Lively filed a notice of non-suit with prejudice of her Rule 202 petition in favor of adding Wallace and Street to the New York litigation. So it just seems to me that she keeps reacting to what's going on. She filed a CRD. People start complaining that, girl, you filed the CRD, you leaked it to the New York Times, and you didn't even file a lawsuit. So all of a sudden a lawsuit happens. And then she adds Jed Wallace to the CRD complaint, where now he's linked to the SH and the retaliation, leaves him out of her first filing. People start complaining of, how do you just do that to someone and then just leave them? And she's like, oh, fine, I'll sue him too. It's fine. I'll add him to it. That afternoon, notwithstanding the representations made into the first filed court the day before, Wallace and Street filed this complaint to the court asserting two causes of action against Ms. Lively. One, a claim of declaratory judgment under the Declaratory Judgment Act, that plaintiffs are not liable for claims that they anticipated Ms. Lively would bring them against them in the New York litigation to obtain issue preclusive effect. And two, a claim for defamation based solely upon statements contained within the privileged CRD form and the CRD complaint that plaintiffs claim falsely stated that they had engaged in 10 illegal acts under state and federal law. Immediately thereafter, on February 5th and 6th, 2025, plaintiffs filed paperwork to convert Street from a California to a Texas corporation, listing the address for Freeman's law firm as both the organizer of the corporation and a Street California agent for process. Maybe he did. I don't know. I also want to know why Blake had a change of ownership of her hairline earlier in 2025. I'd also like to know that. On February 18th, 2025, Ms. Lively filed an amended complaint in New York litigation, adding plaintiffs as parties and asserting against them claims for aiding and abetting harassment and retaliation in violation of the California's Fair Employment and Housing Act, intentional infliction of emotional distress, false light invasion of privacy, and civil conspiracy under California law. Plaintiffs' claims required dismissal as a matter of procedural law. The court can and should dismiss the complaint in its entirety before considering its substantive claims based on three independent threshold grounds for denying audience to a case on the merits. First, this court lacks personal jurisdiction because the complaint does not allege any contacts between Ms. Lively and Texas that could have given Ms. Lively fair warning that these claims could be brought against her in Texas. I don't know this part of the law. We're just here for the ride. Second, this case must be dismissed under the first filed doctrine because, as plaintiffs concede, a substantially similar action was previously filed and is pending in the Southern District of New York. And third, this case must be dismissed for improper venue because no events, much less a substantial portion of the events, give rise to this action occurred in the district. Oh, damn it. I didn't mean to do that. Ms. Lively is not subject to personal jurisdiction in Texas. The court should dismiss the complaint in its entirety pursuant to FRCP 12b2 because it lacks specific or general jurisdiction over Ms. Lively. Plaintiffs do not assert that general jurisdiction exists over Ms. Lively in Texas, nor could they because, as plaintiffs admit, Ms. Lively is a citizen of New York. for the court to exercise, and I genuinely don't understand. Like, I don't know the law enough to say, watch a lawyer for that piece to say whether this is my issue with this is how she adds so much new information, in my opinion, because I haven't seen it added before, about apparent things that happen on the set of It Ends With Us, where Jed can't respond to any of that because he wasn't on the set. So it just feels like taking another jab at Justin and then doxing his medical information. That's my biggest issue with this. For the court to exercise specific personal jurisdiction over Miss Lively, plaintiffs must demonstrate that she purposefully availed herself of the privileges of conducting activities in Texas. And two, plaintiffs' claim arise out of, relate to those purposeful contacts. And three, exercising jurisdiction is fair and reasonable to the defendant. Plaintiffs attempt to meet that burden based on two allegations. First, that Miss Lively has waived any jurisdictional objections by having availed herself of the forum by filing a Rule 202 petition in Texas on the subject matter of the suit. And second, that Miss Lively's allegedly defamatory statements were aimed at Texas, where both plaintiffs reside, and they undoubtedly caused harm in Texas. Yeah, I don't think we have to read more about jurisdiction, because I have nothing to say on that anyway. So anyway, let's see if there's anything else. I think they're just talking about that now. All right. What do you guys think about this? That's all the jurisdiction stuff that she goes on to. What do you guys think about the fact that she seems to have these new details about Justin Baldoni that she adds in and what happened on the set, and the fact that she added Jed Wallace's personal information? What do you guys think of this? Cat says, you're right. She's trying to add more claims because she can't add them to hers, and she knows her argument is non-existent. That's what I'm feeling too. That's what I'm feeling too. She's using it to get things from the 30-point list in. Oh, that is a good point. I didn't even think of that. I think the public will show sympathy to Wallace when they know what kind of health situation she caused him. Seriously. My worry with him and with all this, to be honest, is how much, and maybe she knows this, right? And so I don't know. How long can he go? Like, this has got to be incredibly expensive. It's got to be incredibly expensive. Her details about as real as she is. I think they're all lies about JB. It's worse than the 30-point list. I need to go back and review the 30-point list. Hello, P. All of this is on Blake, Ryan, Leslie, etc. Yeah, Blake is at the forefront, but I don't plan on letting Ryan's weasel face slide. See, and I have the same feeling as you. I think she's at the forefront. I know a lot of people are saying, she was just along for the ride. And I think, I genuinely think her and Ryan conspire on all this stuff. I just can't believe she added new stuff in. The audacity. Steve Sarwitz is a crack into her tiny dragons. Let's see. I'm going to do a Google search, see if there's any, and let me check the dockets. I don't think there's anything this morning yet. Yet is the operative word there. Yeah, there's nothing. Let's see if there's anything going down on Google. That's right. We'll pull that up, but let me just check a couple more. Okay, I just need to deal with this chirping in the background. Give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourself. I'll be right back. Hi, honey. You're okay, bud. Watch your noggin, babe. What is going on in here? Is everyone okay? Where's the chirping coming from? All right, y'all. You better keep it together. Watch your noggin, babe. Tandy. Watch your bum. Good boy. Watch your noggin. You're going to get hurt. There you go, sweetheart. All right. I can't come up with where the chirping's coming from. It's like, I think one of them's loose in the house, but I can't find anyone. So, I mean, they're just going to have to, who's paying the chicken? Yeah. Even the chickens are freaking out at Blake. Seriously. I'll show us the birds. I'll post a little video on Instagram stories. All right, but they're chirping as if someone's lost. So the chirping sound they're doing is someone's lost. So I think someone jumped out, and I'll have to find them after. They'll be fine. I have like a bathroom off my office, and they're in there. They're contained. They'll be okay for a bit. I have a dog toy which has the same chirp. I'm actually surprised that it doesn't trigger the dogs at all. But yes, the chirping in the background is chickens or chicks, baby chicks. All right. What do you guys think about this? All of a sudden, all of the news is talking about Taylor Swift and Blake Lively are reconciling. What do you guys think about this? Travis Kelce's beau, Taylor Swift. That is a weird headline. Forgives Blake Lively amid explosive legal scandal. Taylor Swift is talking to Blake Lively again, as actress apologizes amid singer being dragged in the Justin Baldoni scandal. Whose side do you think put this out? Someone put this out. Remember what we've learned about SEO manipulation? If every headline is the same and every news media is posting and pushing a certain narrative and story, someone's put it out. But who is the question? I see a lot of people saying that they probably never stopped talking. I have to say, though, if just from my perspective, if I was going through something horrible and my friend was like, we're friends behind the scenes, but like, I am distancing myself from you publicly because, like money, that there'd be no way. There'd be no way. Oh my gosh, that noise is driving me. Stop it, guys. They're just getting their story straight. Taylor isn't talking to her. I personally feel that we're going to have some shocking stuff come out about Taylor and her involvement. I know a lot of people say like Blake probably lied about it. I don't know. I just keep going back to that video where she says, Taylor was with me every step of the way. So Taylor Swift is reportedly talking to Blake Lively again after the pals allegedly fell out amid the Justin Baldoni scandal. In February, DailyMail.com reported that the singer, 35, had taken a step back from their decade-long friendship after her shock involvement in Blake's highly publicized legal roller coaster with her It Ends With Us co-star. However, it appears that Taylor and Blake have now made amends, with reports stating that the actress, 37, said sorry over her friend being dragged into the drama. I don't know. A source told News Nation, Swift and Lively have worked everything out. Blake apologized and they're talking again. Like, I could go either way, right? If you're like, but which way does it feel like it's coming from? It could be from Taylor's side, because she's getting a lot of heat right now, kind of like, aren't you a feminist and you drop your friend when she's dealing with this? And so I could see potentially it coming from Taylor's side. I could definitely see it coming from Blake's side. Taylor Swift is being quiet now for a reason. Yep. I could definitely see it coming from Blake's side as well. However, the only thing that comes up when I think of it coming from Blake's side is if it's not true, so say it's not true at all, you risk ticking off Taylor Swift even more. So if Blake is coming up with a completely false narrative and using it for SEO manipulation, I don't know, but maybe she just doesn't care. So I can see it. I can see arguments for both sides. Taylor doesn't play with her brand, and this is bad for her to blindly believe a potential wild crier. Yep. She does not play with her brand. Exactly. Hi, buddy. Are you getting restless? All right. So their close bond has deteriorated, with Taylor reportedly refusing an invitation to the SNL 50 anniversary special as Blake was on the guest list. And see, that's what I mean. If you're talking to me in private, but you won't be seen even at the same event as me, Taylor is not communicating with Blake. An insider said to dailymail.com she was invited to SNL 50, but Blake was there and Kim Kardashian. It was the last place on earth she would be seen. The global frenzy around Blake left Taylor questioning her close friendships and how she can prevent external factors from dragging or damaging her own reputation. Yeah, it's all about brand and money. Taylor is taking stock of which of her friends are good for her and who name drops her for personal gain after Blakegate, a second insider added. Didn't just, who else did Taylor recently cut ties with? And she's the godmother of her kids too. Is it Jamie King? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Yes. So Jamie King's been going through a lot. She's been going through a really hard time. And there were reports coming out. Let me know. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, guys. And Mahomes is another one there's been rumors that she's cut ties with. Yes, that's another one. Yeah. It's just interesting to me. Now, Jamie King, we can pull up an article on that. Very clearly is going through very tough times right now. And I just think of like my ride or die friends. And I would hope my friends, if I'm going through a really hard time, would have my back. There's also a point, if someone is very much in a destructive phase and won't listen to anyone, you have to protect your own mental health as well. There's something to be said for that. But it's just interesting how all these friends seem to be getting dropped. Taylor is taking stock of her friends. She has a new album in the works. We did talk about that on the channel, that there might be like an album or a marriage or something that comes out. She has a new album in the works and is shocked by how much drama she was pulled into. She won't let external factors hurt her career. I do believe that. At the time, the ladies hadn't been pictured together for 4 months. The last time was when Blake and Taylor enjoyed a double date with their respective partners. Questions were raised in February when the actress failed to attend the Super Bowl, with Taylor instead flanked by her collaborator Ice Spice. Social media influencer Ashley Avigoni. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm horrible with names. So yeah, she was dragged because Blake called herself Khaleesi and Ryan and Taylor her dragons. So apparently the source says for the time being, she is taking a step back from Blake because she doesn't want to get tangled in this more than she already has, which is far more than she ever needed to be. Oh, I have no doubt that Taylor does not want things in text messages. And that's what I was saying earlier, right? That's what I was saying earlier, with these people not putting things in text messages, these things not being in written form. So you might not even actually see in written form how Taylor had her fingers and everything. If she's smart, she didn't put it in text message. She waited until if she was involved, waited until she got to Blake's house and talked about it. All right. So apparently they're friends again. And so this one I can't It's behind. Oh, is it not anymore? Oh, no, it's behind a paywall still. But apparently, new smoking gun bombshell that could destroy Blake Lively's claims. Justin Baldoni celebrating significant discovery. That, from what I can find, although I haven't paid for that article, is the like crotch grab from A Simple Favor. Let's see. Yeah, so if we're looking at from an SEO manipulation place, she had put out 3 days ago, Blake Lively says Justin Baldoni trying to silence all harassment victims. So she had done that. That was pushed out, but it wasn't really like the major headlines were carrying that. But now we have today on Monday, or I guess it came out on Sunday for Monday, or 45 minutes ago, 3 hours ago, 45 minutes ago, 6 hours. See, okay, this is another thing to keep in mind with SEO manipulation. All these platforms just happen to have the same article within a couple hours of each other. They all just have to, it's just a coincidence that all of these platforms within 45 minutes, 3 hours, 6 hours. The Daily Mail, the paywall one was 1 day ago, so it would have been Sunday. It just comes across as potential manipulation and narrative control. So what she would want to push down right now is, one, the mess of the donut shop fuckery that went on, and whether she was, it was PR or if it was not, or the hair thing. Now they're getting investigated for her being there without a hairnet on. So you want to push down that. And I'd almost say like push down Brian Friedman's statement as well. But let's see. We'll flip over to, I don't think it's real. I don't know. If I'm being honest, if I had to, if someone twisted my arm, okay, if someone twisted my arm and I had to pick whether it was Blake or Taylor that put that out. Okay, if I had to, I'd say Taylor. I just feel like Taylor's got, I don't think Blake would screw around with that right now, of putting out a false narrative like that. I just don't think she would. Okay, we'll just touch on this quick, because this is something else that happened with Taylor, and there was a little bit of a backlash online, not massive. It wasn't a huge backlash, but there was a little bit of a backlash. Tundra, are you eating something? No? Okay. Where people were commenting on how Taylor was starting to drop friends. So this is, oh, interesting. That's still in the news up to 5 days ago. Interesting. So, okay, we're gonna have to wrap it up in a minute. Tundra just peed all over the floor. I'm home alone with them and trying to manage puppies and streaming. I know, Juliet, my German Shepherd's looking at him like, that's disgusting. So this was in the news even up to April 2nd. On page 6, why Taylor Swift and Jamie King's once close friendship suffered before actress's custody battle. Jamie King's friendship with Taylor Swift has suffered because of the personal challenges the actress has faced over the past few years, a source exclusively tells page 6. According to our insider, the Sin City star and the Grammy winner haven't been in touch for a long time, but tells us that King misses Taylor and hopes that they can reconnect at some point. Jamie made Taylor her son's godmother for a reason. She wants to continue that friendship. It's hard to say, who knows what's going on behind the scenes and how bad things are with Jamie. And maybe it was for mental health purposes that Taylor's like, I just have to distance myself for now. But it is kind of interesting that Taylor keeps getting in the news for leaving. Tundra, what are you getting into? Leaving women who she is the godmother of their children. Especially when her brand was very much built on supporting women and being there for women. And I think she gave money to Kesha's Tundra, Kesha's lawsuit. Sorry, now I'm distracted because the puppy's getting into things. We'll get through this and I'm going to have to go. King 45 and Swift 35 became inseparable after meeting at the 2014 Golden Globes party. Just 1 year later, the White Chicks actress asked the pop star to be her son Leo's godmother. King's now ex-husband, Kyle Newman, also directed Swift's 2015 Style music video. She's going through a rough time right now between being forced to move out of her rental home because of the lawsuit involving her former landlord and her ex getting sole physical custody of her boys. It's all been very challenging, the insider tells us. Last month, a judge declared that Newman, 49, will have sole custody of James, 11, and Leo, 9, due to King's failure to complete her rehab program. That's tragic. King will only be allowed supervised visitation with her boys 3 times a week. Okay, I don't think we have to go too far into Jamie's struggles. But she's going through a hard time. And sometimes, and I will admit, someone will accuse me of being on Taylor's payroll for this. Sometimes the reality is you do need to distance yourself when someone is going through a really hard time, and no matter what you do, you can't help them. It's just interesting. And this is why I say Taylor needs good press, because people started to pick up online like, oh, and I saw this in the comments when this story first broke, she's ditching another family or another woman who she's the godmother to their children. So, Tundra, can you come here? Come here. You listen like a ton of bricks. Can you come here for a minute? No? Why would you listen to me? See, and this is the thing as well. Didn't Taylor invite Joe Jonas's ex to stay with her during the divorce? And this, geez, one sec, guys. Sorry. Honey, what are we chewing? Stop. You don't eat. I know, Julia. I'm almost done. Give me 2 minutes. That's the one thing I thought of as well. Like, there's ways to support. That's a husky for you. Yes. There are many days when I think I am getting too old for a puppy. I'm not going to lie. Always pick the... Oh, now Julia's throwing up. Chaos in my house right now. 1 second again. It's okay, guys. It's okay, Julia. It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. It's okay, sweetie. It's okay, sweetheart. Good girl. You're okay, baby. Hey, honey, come here. Come with mama for a second. Come with mama for a second. Come over here. I know. I know. All right, guys. Julia is sick. She has megaesophagus and IBD, and she's not feeling well. And this one is getting into everything. So I know. I'll be right there, sweetie. I'm going to have to go. I'm sorry. I'm alone in the house right now, so I can't have anyone look after them. I apologize for the chaos. You're hilarious. I feel like I'm in your living room. Yes. Oh, it's chaos some days, let me tell you. Okay, guys, so I'm going to let you go. But yes, I agree. It's very weird for me, the dropping Jamie King, when her whole brand's really been built around sisterhood and defending your friends. She was there for Joe Jonas's ex. Isn't she actually the Queen of the North from Game of Thrones, the wife? But yes, I think I need a second to process because now my brain's all over the place. However, I am on the same page as you guys. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I need to go help Julia. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the chaos. Usually it's not this chaotic. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.